Time now to connect the dots when we make the news make sense. If your morning commute takes you to a drive-thru, you are likely getting breakfast served with a side of AI. To help combat the slump in fast food sales, one chain is hoping AI will give them an edge. Let's connect the dots. McDonald's is getting a high-tech makeover in hopes of improving customer experience and making their 43,000 restaurants more efficient. According to the Wall Street Journal, McDonald's is using edge computing to analyze equipment and predict when the fryers or the notorious ice cream machines will break down. Sensors installed on equipment can analyze real-time data for signs of maintenance issues. They're also experimenting with enhanced voice-activated drive-thrus and facial recognition to make sure your order is correct. AI will also tailor promotions by analyzing prior purchases and even weather trends so you could see a deal on the app for a sweet treat on a hot day. The rollout started in 2024, but the costly changes could slow the rollout to franchises. And that is connecting the dots.
The latest victim of the trade war, now your favorite glass of wine. The Trump administration is threatening a 200% tariff on all alcoholic beverages from the EU, like French wine and Irish whiskey. This comes after the EU placed a 50% tariff on American spirits. The fallout sparking conversation here in North Carolina. WCNC Charlotte's Austin Walker live now in West Charlotte. So Austin, what does this mean?
Yeah, so some bad news for you, Jane. Your favorite European wine would just get more expensive, that price falling on the distributor and then ultimately onto you. But others say look at this from a different angle. This could entice people to look inward at North Carolina and U.S.-based products.
In a post on Truth Social, President Donald Trump says if the European Union's tariff on whiskey is not removed, the U.S. will place a 200% tariff on all wine, champagnes, and alcoholic products coming from EU-represented countries. The news sparking conversations among world leaders and those close to home.
From the economics perspective, we look at both the costs and the benefits of tariffs.
Joseph Von Nessen is a professor of economics at the University of South Carolina. He says there's two ways of looking at a tariff.
Tariffs can sometimes benefit the industries that they target.
It could force the hand of consumers to look inward, scrapping foreign products for something close to home.
Domestic producers in some cases see higher demand.
We processed some 37,000 bottles out of this location last year.
Scott McClure, part owner of Seven Jars Distillery and Winery, says they mainly focus on material in the U.S.
From Oregon State, Washington State.
McClure says the tariffs won't impact him. If anything, it could drive up his business.
The tariffs give Americans the opportunity to understand that what they have here is excellent quality and they can enjoy it every day for far less expense.
But inside Petite Philippe Fine Wine, it's a physical example of the other side of this conversation.
It's a tax on imported goods.
Burgundy and other parts of France.
Owner Mark Meisner walking us through his vast selection of European wines.
Definitely more than 50% of our business is coming from Europe.
And if the tariff goes into effect, he says it's easy math.
Wholesale costs will obviously go up, and then retail costs will go up.
It all depends on how you look at the glass, half full or half empty.
Yeah, so different perspectives right there, but there is another question also. If the 200% tariff, would that mean it is 200% more for that cost of the item? That answer at 5:30 from an economist, so stick with us. For now, we are live in Charlotte. Austin Walker, WCNC Charlotte.
There goes my Montepulciano. All right, thanks, Austin.
WCNC Charlotte is making a difference with your help. When you share your news tips, we go to work.
I sent you that email. 15 minutes later, you're responding to me.
When a Charlotte woman battling cancer lost her health coverage, we demanded answers.
Within hours of WCNC Charlotte asking questions, the agency responsible quickly corrected its mistake.
Let us get to work for you.
Reach out to news tips at WCNC.com. WCNC Charlotte, news that impacts you.
Right to our first headline, new today. Family, friends, and community groups pleading for an investigation after they say a 15-year-old Muslim girl was attacked by another student this past Friday. Now, this happened inside Audrey Kell High School. We reported on it when it happened. Thanks for being here. Now at 5, I'm Colin Mayfield.
And I'm Vanessa Rufus. All of this reportedly played out this past Friday, and the student's parents say they took her to the hospital, and they tell us she has multiple broken bones. Today, dozens of folks gathered outside the school asking for accountability.
WCNC Charlotte's Austin Walker live from CMS headquarters. Austin, immediately following the family's press conference, CMS holding one of their own. It seems to be their words against the district's here.
Yeah, that's right. So right now we do know that the 15-year-old girl is back at home after being in the hospital recovering from her injuries. But she, her parents, and some of the community say that she was attacked because of her religion. And CMS covered it all up and is not referring to this as a hate crime. But the district responds saying that they did follow protocol exactly to a T. Now, in this news story, you will be seeing some photos and pictures that might be disturbing.
Wednesday, dozens of people gather with Audrey Kell High School as a backdrop, recalling what many are describing as a horrific hate crime, alleging CMS is covering it up.
He called our sister the B word, the N word, and he told her to go back to her country.
Jabril Hoff, the family spokesperson, says a different student was calling the girl slurs and then eventually started beating her until a nearby teacher pulled him off.
He beat her with several punches to the head and the face.
He says the girl was taken to the nurse's office where she did call her father.
CMS actually expected her mother to take her to the emergency room.
They say her father got to the school and immediately called an ambulance to take her to the hospital. Now he is asking why the school did not call 911 immediately.
But if you look at these pictures, this is not a fight. This is not a fight. This is a beating.
The family says the girl will need a nose and jaw reconstruction surgery and has several broken bones. The girl's brother, Abraham Nazir, is a former Audrey Kell High School student, saying there's a larger conversation that needs to happen.
I went through it as well. People call me a terrorist, all that, but you just got to keep ignoring it. And, I didn't think that anyone would, punch or anything.
And current students of the Muslim faith and parents echoing this concern to us.
Well, I just don't know if I feel safe in this school anymore, especially seeing how CMS has handled this.
We're talking about a small female and a football player.
CMS says due to privacy laws, it cannot comment on any of the information regarding either student. The district says it does not tolerate violence, but did follow all CMS protocols.
And based off of our privacy laws and investigative protocols, we know 911 was called, and we know that the police followed the processes that they were initiated to do.
When asked if it is calling this a hate crime, they say it's not determined by them.
This is now an ongoing police investigation, and it's important to note that the determination of whether this or any situation constitutes a hate crime falls under the jurisdiction of law enforcement and not the school district.
Yeah, so lots of finger pointing back and forth. Now, at that press conference, we also asked about the xenophobic language and concerns from students and parents, but the district says, quote, "We are not talking about that right now." For now, live at CMS, Austin Walker, WCNC Charlotte.
Wow, really tough to look at those images.
Eye-opening for sure.
Austin, thank you. Keep us posted.
Yeah.
Meantime, some big changes could soon be coming to Huntersville. A developer is looking to build a new space for homes and businesses.
Yeah, and they want to build it right along the tracks that could soon become the Red Line commuter trail. WCNC Charlotte's Walker Lawson shows us what this project could look like.
Along the train tracks here on Old Statesville Road sits a public hearing sign for a rezoning request as Peak Development is looking to transform this property along Old Statesville Road, turning it into Station South, a place that will provide apartments, townhomes, and commercial properties. Now, the developer says that it will be good for the community, but not all residents here are in support of the project.
Huntersville continues to push east down Sam Fur. We want to make sure that we're providing, things to do, places to eat.
There are two versions of the proposed Station South. Option A is if the Red Line comes. featuring 2 commercial buildings, 8 apartment buildings, 8 townhomes, and 1 parking deck. Option B is similar, but with minor changes.
There's not a train station. The next piece, if it does not come, is there's not a parking structure. There's not a parking deck. And so what will happen is if the red line doesn't come, we will convert the area where currently the train station and the parking deck are proposed to all retail.
While developers see opportunity, some neighbors see traffic nightmares. Tim Sullivan has lived in Huntersville for years and says the biggest concern isn't just the roads.
I think the biggest thing that we see is just the pressure it puts on the school systems. And I understand that they want to increase tax revenue and all those wonderful things that the cities need, but I work in healthcare, so I think the biggest thing I see is the strain it puts on our healthcare workers, from ambulance services, fire services that sometimes we take for granted. I just look at it like I see ambulances getting stuck behind the bumper-to-bumper traffic.
Cox says they have completed a traffic study and will address several different needs, which include new crossing over the rail line, widening a section of Old Statesville Road, as well as other improvements.
Siegel Street will run parallel to 115. The goal of Siegel Street is to be a minor thoroughfare that relieves traffic from both Sanford and Old Statesville.
Now, the Planning Commission will meet regarding this project on March 25th. Reporting in Huntersville, Walker Lawson, WCNC Charlotte.
When severe weather impacts the Carolinas, you can help us tell the story.
Our radar helps to keep you weather aware, along with images like these. Here's how to send us a video or picture of conditions impacting your area.
Make sure you're in a safe spot. Take a picture or a video, then send it to the Near Me feature on our WCNC News app.
Your image could be part of our weather impact coverage. Download the WCNC News app now.
It's time to connect the dots. When we make the news, it makes sense. With bird flu driving up egg prices, the U.S. is exploring vaccines as a possible solution. But not everyone in the poultry industry is on board.
The U.S. may soon use vaccines to fight bird flu. Let's connect the dots. Right now, every infected flock is killed to stop the spread of sickness. That has led to the loss of more than 166 million birds since 2022, driving up egg prices. The U.S. Department of Agriculture is studying bird flu vaccines as a solution, but chicken meat producers worry it could hurt exports because some countries may stop buying U.S. poultry. Egg and turkey farmers who have been hit hardest support vaccination, but they want an easy way to administer it, like adding it to feed or water, rather than vaccinating birds individually. Other countries like China and Mexico already vaccinate their poultry. If the U.S. moves forward, officials say flocks would still need to be culled if infections are found. Even if vaccines are approved, prices won't drop overnight. Experts say relief may come later this year, but for now, expect prices to stay high. And that's connecting the dots.
I stuck it out to the end.
Faced with the same foe, others might have folded, but this woman fought one of the country's largest debt collectors and won a significant settlement. Nearly 20,000 others in North Carolina did the exact same. And advocates say their experience should be a wake-up call for anyone who's ever signed up for a credit card.
And WCNC Charlotte's Nate Morabito learned one company in particular has repeatedly failed to follow the rules, all while demanding, where's the money?
It usually starts with a phone call or mail from a vaguely named company about past debt that tends to catch people off guard and leave them skeptical. After all, this is not the original company they first did business with. Instead, it's a company that bought their debt long after it went unpaid. Attorneys say the last thing consumers should do is ignore it or pay it. Instead, they should take it seriously and ask for help. A decision 25 years ago to open an H.H. Gregg credit card and save a few bucks on a couple TVs.
I actually had the cash to buy them, but they had a promotion going on.
Has cost Sherry Spector dearly.
They sued, they sent a sheriff to my door. That did scare me.
Initially, just money.
It is not who I am.
But over time, may be more devastating.
For the people that know me, would be so surprised.
Some of her confidence.
But they would not be surprised that I fought to the very end.
Today, she's just on the other side and desperate to help protect others.
That means something to me.
Records show early on she made payments on the 2-year no-interest plan, but then her world came crumbling down. The Charlotte woman says she kept up for as long as she could after losing her job, but eventually had to make tough decisions.
Food, clothing, shelter.